Captn, Bob, and Arlo. They're the ones you know. Wisconsin's Hot Rod Radio.
Hey, welcome to Wisconsin Hot Rod Radio. I'm Captain Bob.
And I'm Arlo.
And here we are on the FONZ FM.
Yeah, a little loud there.
We are the voices to the hot rodders and all the car and bike and motorcycle people and everything else.
We sure try.
Yeah. So we're gonna start off right away with announcing, because if you want to jump in on something right away, we actually have 2 cruises going on this morning. Before we kind of tell you what we did last weekend,
right?
But we've got our good friend Beth right now. She's running a cruise. It's actually the Second Harvest Food Drive. All Stop Travel Plaza, Boulevard Lanes, and Cool Hand Customs present the Cooped Up Cruise and Food Drive. Again, for the Second Harvest Food Bank. It's today, May 16th, which is going to be starting at 9 o'clock, which it's already now started. Now, this is going to be leaving the Boulevard Lanes in Madison. And they're going to be leaving about 9:45, and they're going to say, join us at the All Stop in Lodi, Wisconsin for the food drive, but they're going to cruise the back roads to Wisconsin Dells for a town parade. So if you want to jump in on this thing, you got to run up to Madison real quick at 2121 East Spring Drive in Madison, Wisconsin, or maybe you're already heading up there listening to us. Just jump on in. Again, another great food drive going on.
That's right. And one that just came across this past week, by the way, 27th Street here in Milwaukee on the south side, South 27th Street. They're going to have a throwback cruise. They're going to be cruising up and down 27th Street.
Cool.
A few years ago they tried that.
Yeah,
it was cruising US 41 or something 41, like that. Yeah. But anyways, Motor Mania is putting this together.
Okay.
And it's called 27 Social. I think that's that place with the laser tag thing.
You're right.
The dealership.
Right.
Anyways, they're going to do that. That starts at 11 o'clock today.
So you got a little time.
Got a little bit of time, and they're going to go till 7 o'clock at night.
Wow.
So just here's what they're saying is they're going to cruise like the old days, rich part of the history. Just go up and down, and back and forth on the street, and just have a good time. If you want to stop off and talk to people, keep your social distance, but that's who's putting it on.
Back in the day would have been Wisconsin Avenue.
I know.
Yeah, that was the time.
See, I was not around at this time. Oh,
yeah. Wisconsin Avenue, 27th Street, and Highway 100 here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
We cruised them all, let me tell you.
Now, was 27th Street down this far, though? Because of Leon's, right?
Yeah, we went from Leon's, and then we had a Big Boy that was actually not too far from Leon's.
Okay.
We always would end up going to Big Boys also, too. And we'd cruise, maybe we didn't go as far down to like now where Menards is.
Right, that's quite a ways down.
Yeah, we didn't go that far down there. But we went to about 27th and Layton, and that was about it, and then cruised back.
Well, how did Wisconsin work, though, back then? How... Because that's kind of a narrow area going down.
Wisconsin Avenue was. And,
where?
And again, if you're watching us on our video right now, because check us out on Adventures of Captain Bob and Arlo on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But Wisconsin Avenue was kind of cool because we would meet down there on Saturday nights.
Where? What block? I'm curious.
About Michigan, somewhere in there.
Okay.
And then, and of course, you had the Riverside Theater right there.
Oh, so you were right down in there.
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
And it was kind of cool because that area there reminded you tremendously of American graffiti.
Okay. So there weren't all these massive buildings like it is now.
No, you still had the buildings, but you had everybody walking up and down the sidewalks, just like American graffiti.
Okay.
I mean, girls, hey, babe, want to ride?
I remember your wife is going to watch this.
I know, that's true. Well, maybe I picked her up there.
Well, okay, all right, there you go.
And maybe not. But we'd all meet down there, and that's all you did. You cruised all night long. Again, you tried to use your horsepower once in a while, but the police were always around the area.
So how far to you there? How far west did you go?
Basically from the lake, kind of near the lakefront, all the way down to about almost, I'm going to say kind of where the Marquette is.
Okay, sure.
About there, and then we turn around, and then we go back again.
Okay.
Just, where the freeway would be.
Gotcha.
We'd go back and forth.
Okay.
So you do that as a turnaround and go back and forth. And
nice.
Everybody cruising next. We had a guy that we met, and everybody be playing their 8-track CD or their 8-track tapes, as loud as they could be.
Yeah.
And a guy pulled up next to me one night, and he was playing Ravi Shankar. And I went, hey, I was like, this is cool. And it was kind of cool because he had a Ford Torino with no springs in the back. So the back of the car was jumping up and down, bouncing like crazy. And I went, hey, Robbie Shankar. And he goes, yeah. And he pulls it out and he throws it into my car. He said, I'll catch you on the next route.
What?
And the guy was from California.
Yeah.
And the guy actually ended up cruising with us now for quite most of the summer. He got to meet with all of us.
So he just gave you the 8-track and you gave it back to him?
Yeah,
when
and
you're
I gave it
done?
back. Well, you did that because, everybody trusted everybody and everybody was cool.
Oh, wow.
But I think one of the coolest nights was I was at the Riverside at that corner, ready to head west on Wisconsin Avenue, and I had my old Olds at the time, which was a kind of a cool car, 62 Oldsmobile. But a guy pulled up next to me at the light with a silver, I still remember this, a silver Mopar. It was about a 65, 66 GTX. And I thought, okay, but I'm looking on the hood going, yeah, I'm sure he's got a hairy engine in this thing. As he passed me by, on the quarter panel of the car, in Old English lettering, it said, Hemi 1. Okay, and it was kind of cool. Well, the car behind him that now passed me by,
Right.
same color car, Hemi 2.
Wow.
Went all the way up to Hemi 5.
Really?
5 of these guys just kept driving up and down Wisconsin Avenue,
Wow.
and you thought, ain't going to try these guys on, because they're all Hemis. But it was cool. Again,
Well, so today at 11 o'clock on 27th Street down here by the Leons, all that kind of stuff all the way up and down through here. That's going on today. Cruise back and forth. So don't have to get out of your car, just drive them.
Now, we got to say also, too, that we had fun last week on the Wisconsin Street Rod Association. Mm-hmm. We did their food drive cruise.
We did.
And we actually met there in Pewaukee, kind of at the Point Burger.
Yep.
And we left from there, and then we kind of went the back routes. And we went past the one hospital in...
in Summit.
I
think it's Summit, the Aurora Healthcare facility. Yeah. And then there was a nursing home just across the street from that, or, long-term facility there. And people were out. They were waving, stuff like that. We want to thank the Wisconsin Street Rod guys to put it on all together. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. Then we ended up in Concord, which is kind of interesting. There's supposed to be a car show that day by them, but they ended up doing the cruise, which is good.
Our good friend Air Guitar, that's just what he said. He said, they couldn't have a car show here today, but yet there's a car show here today. But nobody really, stayed.
No, pulled in, dropped off the food. A lot of people left,
exactly.
That kind of thing. And then they went on to something else. You and I came home.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of them going on. So
there are.
People want to get the cars out and run them. Just keep careful with the social distancing kind of thing.
There you go. Exactly.
But here's my fear is that if you aren't going to do social distancing, then... the state comes in, or they start bad-mouthing us guys that we got our cars out. We're not heeding those warnings, and we don't need that bad publicity.
Exactly.
So do your best.
There you go.
Cool.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, this would have been the weekend for the Automotion Show, which obviously everybody knows that has been canceled and postponed to September.
Right.
So, again, check out our website, Wisconsin Hot Rod Radio, and go to car shows, and you'll find out when that date is now for the Automotion Show in September.
Yeah. I'm going to have to get my own birthday cake.
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
First time in 13 years.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true.
You remember the first year
I know,
you and I went up there, and somebody found out it was my birthday, and they were driving Bob nuts because happy birthday, Arlo, and then people were giving me cake and stuff. And
it was a fun time.
And it didn't stop.
No,
it went
didn't.
all summer.
All summer
in
long.
August, we're down in Illinois. They come up and give me a birthday cake. Happy birthday, Arlo. But this is the first time I'll be home.
True. That's true. Yeah, wow.
Weird.
So I got to bring up
before
we cut out, and because we're going to have on a good friend Johnny Jalopy.
Yes, I want to talk to this guy.
Now we got to say also too, thanks to Stacy David being on last week.
Yeah,
hopefully
great
you
guy.
enjoyed that, and our good friend Bob Bennett. Obviously, Bob is obviously definitely staying social distancing right now.
Yeah, he has to.
Check out his shop because he's still open.
Yeah.
So.
Now it's back to Stacy David. Please listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
He talks all about the Wisconsin car guys and how we got big hearts up here because we donated some money down that way.
That's true.
Back during the tornadoes, and he talks he spent almost the entire podcast on us up here.
That's right. Yeah, really.
So
cool.
Paul Adamak, all you guys that showed up at that Southeastern Wisconsin Car Club meeting. Thank you for all that. I mean, went a long ways.
Exactly. So we appreciate that very much.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, Stacy will be up here.
Yes.
July 4th. He's going to be at the Washington County Fairgrounds for Motor Mania. He'll be up here for 2 days.
Right.
And he wants to come up and say thank you to everybody for, we're kind of like their sister state.
Yeah.
Kind of way, Tennessee.
That's true.
But he's coming up on July 4th for Motor Mania.
Right. So before we go into a commercial on Johnny Jalopy, again, it's model of the week. So,
it is.
And the only reason I'm bringing it up because Johnny Jalopy kind of does stuff like this. But obviously I'm into gassers.
Yeah.
And the one that I did this time around was, again, the Revell 1957 Chevrolet. I'm holding this up to the video.
There you go.
So if you check it out, once again, visit our videos on
YouTube. Yeah.
The Adventures of Captain Bob and Arlo.
There you go. Subscribe to it, please.
Right. But I love gassers.
Okay.
So one that I've done here now, obviously, is a gasser of a 57 Chevy.
That's cool.
I'm pulling it up to the camera.
Very cool. Yeah.
Made my own front axle, plumbed the engine, did everything I had to do there, painted it bright yellow, tinted the windows with red, because that's what was always kind of cool about, those days. You had always the tinted windows on the cars.
Yeah.
And there it is. There's my 57 Chevy that I did. The only thing I think I did on this one, again, I'm not an L Stout, but I think on this one I kind of cut the wheel wells out too much in the back.
You think?
Yeah, I kind of shaved them too far back. So.
I don't know.
So
it's radical.
Yeah, but it's radical. So again, and I want to mention out there too, Rich, once again, one of the guys that listens to our show.
Yes.
We appreciate it very much. Rich did a scale, 1/25th scale Henry J with a 1/10th scale motor and rear tires. He wired the engine, fuel lines, handmade front axles and frame, metal axles, exhaust frames. I like this. Exhaust flames are made out of Q-tips painted orange and red. Full interior, and he said, no, it's not like the box.
Okay.
So again, once again, Rich, we appreciate you always sending us, because you're building models too out there.
Yeah.
But there's my 57 Chevy. So
cool. Very cool.
What we're going to do is we're going to cut out for a quick commercial break.
Yeah.
When we come back, we're going to be back with Johnny Jalopy.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Outright Radio. This is Arlo.
And this is Captain Bob, and here we are again on the FONZ FM.
Hey. Yeah.
And again, early this morning, we're waking up a good friend of ours, Johnny Jalopy.
Yeah.
And we actually got to meet Johnny at SEMA last year.
Right.
Which we got to meet him along with another good friend of ours also, too, Ian.
Yeah.
So, but good morning, Johnny.
Hey guys, what's going on?
Well, what's going on with you this morning?
It's a beautiful morning in Florida. Always. Sorry about that. You guys have got cold or something up there.
So thanks for being on the show, Johnny. We'll talk to you next time. Okay, bye.
I'm just sitting on my patio. No big deal.
Send me up some oranges. Yeah, there you go.
So, we've met with you, and the first time I think I've kind of saw who you were was on one of the TV shows with, obviously, Ian Roussel.
Full Custom Garage.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were doing a drawing, and he actually created a vehicle from the drawing that you did.
Amazing.
And it was like, wow, this is really kind of cool. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I mean, because you got involved into doing of drawings many, many, many years ago. Actually, your father got you involved into this also, too, correct?
Yes. That's true. My dad... from a little kid, one of the things that my dad didn't have a lot of free time. He worked a lot, but when he did sit down with me, he'd draw and doodle with me. And he was an aspiring artist himself. He really wanted to become almost like a Bob Ross or one of those kind of guys. But cars was one of the things I think he always had a passion for, but never really pursued. But it was something I really liked, growing up in the Batman days and all that kind of stuff, and funny cars and slot cars and stuff like that. He was really, I was his first son, so he was really trying to instill that boy stuff. So he would draw with me, and it really stayed with me all through growing up. I didn't really pursue much of it. A little bit in junior high, I took an art class, and luckily that teacher was a car guy too.
Okay.
And he would do car drawings, and I always thought, man, that would be so cool to learn how to draw cars like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then in high school, art, I did a few little art classes, but didn't really pursue automotive stuff. Did acting, that kind of thing.
Acting?
Plays and, did plays and theater stuff and radio stuff for my school and all that kind of stuff.
So
and then, it really...
Your stage name could not have been Jalopy then.
No, not back then.
No.
Johnny Spear.
Johnny, what?
Or, Shakespeare.
Johnny Pitt.
Yeah,
Johnny
exactly.
Pitt, yeah.
Johnny
To be or not to be.
Pitt.
So, and then, it sat a long time, but I always had this want of, I always wanted to have my own T-shirt brand and all this other stuff, and it just never went anywhere. And then one Christmas, in my late 20s, my parents go, hey, what do you want for Christmas? I'm like, I always wanted an airbrush. That would be really fun to try.
Wow.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they brought me an airbrush, and then it was just like hit the ground running. taught myself how to airbrush. Started doing, ink and pen just to try to set up stuff before I put it on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And then it just took off. People were like, hey, I'd like to buy one. And as soon as somebody was like, hey, I'd like to buy something of yours, I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
I might be able to make a couple bucks.
Right.
I can buy another airbrush, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I can buy paint for the airbrush.
Yeah. I can become one of those starving artists. It'll be great.
There you go.
Well, and that's kind of I hate to say it, but it's kind of it has been almost a dying art. I mean, years ago when you used to go, at least for us, when we used to go to the auto shows and go to all the indoor auto shows, you always saw somebody there doing airbrushing. And then as the years came through, that kind of fell down and you didn't see it anymore, which is sad because you really enjoyed that. When you're walking into a car show in the wintertime and smelling and just seeing somebody doing airbrushes was really kind of cool. So, I mean, congratulations to you for that.
Yeah, it's been on the back burner because what's interesting is in my pursuit of trying to, that I started seeing, really digging into, Ed Roth and stuff like that, and Newt, and how T-shirts were made and things like that. I was like, man, I really got to get better at design, car design, and getting proportion right. So I really, started finding other artists, and they were giving me a lot of crap because a lot of my stuff was just airbrush. It wasn't ink and pen, and that was, or you're not painting, doing fine media type stuff. So I was like, well, maybe I need to hone my skills in that. And then the airbrush kind of got set aside.
Okay.
And then it went basically into just doing ink and pen and paper, and then digital eventually.
Right. Okay.
Times change, that's for sure. So I got to ask this question because, like I had mentioned earlier, the first time I got to know who you were, so
it's on TV. We saw you on the big TV.
How did you ever tie up with Ian? I mean, how did you ever meet with him?
Well, it's a long story, but I'll summarize. I drew a car that was in my brain, and it was out in the internet for quite a few years. And I thought it was a neat design, but people liked it, and they would comment on it and stuff. And then one day I see a post. Actually, I got contacted by people who followed my artwork and said, "Hey, Ian Roussel just posted your artwork on his page." And I'm like, "Ian Roussel did?" Well, yeah. So I had been a huge fan of Ian's. I used to grab all his DVDs out of the $5 bin and watch them thousands of times. Back in the MySpace days, I tried to friend that guy. Never got a friend back. And I was like, oh, man, this guy's just such a cool guy, and he's building these really cool cars.
Yeah.
It's totally different than anybody else was, in my opinion. More art-like pieces. And I went to his page, and sure enough, there's my drawing, and it says, you got to give the people what they want.
Wow.
And then within 10 minutes, he sends me an email and says, hey, man, I don't know if you know who I am, but I'm thinking about building this car. What do you think? And I'm like, hell yeah, go ahead and build that. And if there's any way I can be a part of it, please let me. I'll push brooms. I'll dust shelves.
Yeah.
I just somehow can be a part of it. Be great.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, absolutely, man. We'll definitely get you involved.
Good.
And then he started calling me and hey, what do you think of this? I'm going to do this. We started talking about proportions and different stuff. He really got me in that car from behind the scenes. Many phone calls of us just talking back and forth about materials and how he was going to do it, which was great. And I was like, I can't even believe this. And then when he was like, hey, you want to come out and be a part of the show? I was like, oh my goodness, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was fun watching you. That was fun watching you and him interact. You get your pencil and paper out and had to do some modification drawings. Actually, you've done several projects with him now.
Yeah.
Which is really fun.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. It started a friendship that really has grown into something that I'm super happy that I know the guy and I become a friend of his.
Yeah.
Somebody I could go hang out with. Even during SEMA, there was stuff we were doing just hanging out with him, and that had nothing to do with car stuff. It was just great. He's my friend,
Yeah.
So I've met another great guy that is a car guy too that shares the same passion I do.
He is. He's a very super nice guy. We've got to meet him at SEMA too. He's a great person. But like you mentioned earlier, hard to get a hold of. Tried to befriend him. I mean, to me, when I try to get a hold of him,
he lives in the freaking desert.
Yeah, when I tried to get a hold of him a while back ago, it was easier to get a hold of a dead president than try to get a hold of him.
Yeah, he is a low-key dude.
Yeah. But when you do, he's a great guy. And you guys did a great job teaming up together there. So it's fantastic.
It was a lot of fun. I'll forever be grateful for the opportunity. But it's been neat. There's a lot of milestones in my automotive art thing where I go, man, I haven't made the magazine, and I haven't made it here, and I haven't made it there. And then my art friends will tell me, yeah, but you had cars made of your stuff.
And
I got to go, oh, yeah, that's right.
And these cars are weirdo stuff. I mean, I say that respectfully, but it's the weirdo stuff that's being built. Right. I mean, that's quite an honor. You must really you must be smiling when you see that thing and when you walk in, when it's done.
Oh, I love them. I miss the Johnny 5, which is the Volkswagen T-Bucket.
Yeah.
I miss that car so much. The sad thing is I still vividly remember it, us loading it on the trailer and seeing it for the last time and going, I wonder if I'll ever see this car again.
Yeah.
And I contact the owner all the time. I'm like, hey, how is it?
Yeah.
How's the car doing? And then he'll tell me stuff, and I'm like, come on, man, you got to get this thing out in shows. It really hasn't been seen yet.
Right.
It was in the TV show, and then it went to Canada, and it's been in that guy's garage.
Well, I hate to say it, Johnny. It's going to disappear for 30 years. It's going to end up in front of a strip joint in Mexico with plants sticking out of it, and then
exactly. Then
they're going to have.
Sounds like a story we heard before.
I know that's there's a reference right there, and then we're going to have to bring Johnny back in, and
I mean, listen, that'd be a great story. It would make a cool show. But yeah, I don't want to see it go the way of the Orbitron.
No, you don't. I know you don't. So.
Well, I'll tell you what, Johnny, we're going to do this. We're going to cut off for a station break. We got some more, things to talk about. So we're going to take a quick commercial break here. We come back. We'll be back with Johnny Jalopy.
Sounds great.
We'll be right back. Hey, welcome back to Wisconsin Hot Rod Radio. I'm Captain Bob.
And I'm Arlo.
And here we are again on the FONZ FM. Hey. And once again, you're tuning in. We're talking to Johnny Jalopy.
Johnny Jalopy.
Yeah, which is kind of, because he went from Johnny New Car to Johnny Used Car to Johnny Jalopy.
Yeah, he just went backwards.
Yeah.
He went backwards.
Good morning, Johnny, once again.
Hey, thanks.
And thanks for being on our show this morning.
So,
absolutely, thank you.
I know the last time you were talking about, the couple of vehicles, and I want to mention the Space Junkie. Bob and I had a chance to see it in SEMA.
Right.
It was there.
Crazy car, right?
Well, that and Bob and I got in trouble with security over that car. We'll get it. That's for off the air. But security started yelling at us. But anyways, you were there with Ian, and but I want to talk to you a little bit about your relationship, with him and how you guys feed off of each other and how you work.
Sure.
What I like is that he says to you, "This is what I'm thinking," and he watches you sketch, and even the pattern on the side of the car. You were over there sketching out patterns, and he's over there with tape.
Right.
Speak to me a little bit about how you challenge each other.
Well, I tell you, what it becomes is more of anything I put on paper, that guy can do in metal.
Well, we know that.
He's the master. Of metal. So it's really cool. What's neat is the flavor of stuff that we like, which we didn't know initially when we met each other.
Yeah.
That we like a lot of the same era and same stuff, but to be, a lot of the ideas that are in my brain are a little out there, and to know that, I can throw it down and he can go, let's try that. He has no fear, which just drives me crazy. The fearlessness the guy has.
Right.
Where for me, him watching me draw, that's, oh my God, panic. I'm like, oh man, I hope I draw this line straight.
Yeah.
Well, film drawing, that was even crazier.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh man.
For you, it's easy. You just erase and redraw the line.
Yeah.
For him, he cuts, and what do you do now? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but he looks at it the same way as erasing. He's like, okay, I'll cut a piece of sheet metal a little bit longer.
Yeah.
If I got to cut it back, we cut it back. Or if I got to re-weld it, we re-weld it.
Yeah.
No big deal.
So, my observation is you had mentioned Ed Newton earlier in the show.
Yeah.
And Ed's a hero of mine. I'd like to meet him someday. I know he comes up this way once in a while. And but a lot of artists today that do cars, we do monster cars and jacked up, and we take the car. You're kind of the Ed Newton type, if I may say so, because he was.
Man, are you kidding me?
No, I am. I'm not kidding you, because I'll tell you why. you don't put a Volkswagen on a T-bucket frame, you know. You don't take a space junkie and put a blade on the glass top.
Yeah.
Right.
That's unheard of, and that goes back to the Ed Newton days when he would just draw these weird butt things that just don't make sense and then try to fabricate it.
Yeah.
And you're kind of that genre. You're kind of that where you're really off the rails on your drawings. And now you got Ian putting it together. So we're just not taking a 55 and making it look cool. You know, you're putting it on an elephant strapped to a giraffe, strapped to a surfboard, strapped to a suitcase to.
Right.
So that's all a compliment, by the way.
Well, I appreciate it. No, I get it. I get what you're saying. Yeah,
So-
but it's all, a lot of it's just trying to push to where, giving a nod to those guys.
Yep.
And then taking elements of maybe somebody hasn't tried or things that have been tried and mixing a little bit of that in there. But, trying to do something different. And listen, a lot of people, when they first saw that drawing of putting a Volkswagen and a T-bucket together, was like, what are you doing?
Well, we did. I'll tell you what. We did as we watched the show. We're like, oh, come on.
Yeah,
what is that?
Yeah.
I mean, it was cool, but who in their right mind would do that?
Right.
But,
well, sometimes you got to do that. And that's... that's a lot of of how we get cool stuff is someone takes that first risk.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's that next person. Next thing you know, though, not to take any credit for it, like I was the first person to ever put a weird body on a T-bucket frame. But I tell you what, if you look on the internet, after that, there was a ton of different versions of that idea.
Yes. Now, I sidebar to all of this is I watch you every Monday night. You have you call it Sketchy. Is that right?
Yeah, it's a Sketchy Live, with Johnny Jalopy and Eddie B.
Okay, so the other night, a couple weeks ago, you did Darth Vader. Okay?
Yeah.
May the Force be with you kind of thing. I kept thinking of the Red Baron.
Yes, and that's actually, yeah.
And so I thought, see, there's Johnny again being that cool cat back in the day, when we had Newton and all those guys putting weird stuff, like bathtubs between wheels kind of thing, and we had the outhouse cars and stuff like that.
Or the Uncertainty. Yeah, it's like, wow.
Love that car.
Yeah, we can tell you do.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about Sketchy. Tell us a little about what goes on there and why we should watch.
Well, it's a show that I do on Monday nights where I just me and my wife. There's no video of us. It's just my drawing tablet.
Yeah.
And the whole premise of it was I watched a bunch of guys doing just to get my name out there and have something for somebody to watch.
Yeah.
And guys would ask, how do you draw this? What's your process?
Right.
And I was like, well, you know what? What if we did? Every Monday night we did a sketch.
Yep.
Not a full detailed rendering, but a sketch that somebody could learn from, kids could watch. We try to keep it fairly clean so that anybody from any age could watch it.
Well, there's a lot of talk about wine. There's a lot of wine talk in there. I don't know what that
very much. Yeah. And at first I tried to do it by myself, and it was so boring. Trying to read people's comments and interact, and that was a very important part I wanted too. Is I wanted to be able to interact with everybody.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I couldn't do it alone, so I asked my wife, and she's like, really?
Oh,
I'm like, yeah, you're not going to be on camera. I just need you to read to me what they're saying. That's all I need you to do. And, of course, my wife, being who she is, man, she's the linchpin that holds the whole thing together. She's amazing.
You both are. Now you're going to say her name on the air, right?
Yeah, it's her name is Beth, but Eddie B is her show name.
Yeah, her stage name. Now
her stage name, yes.
I think you hit this really well because the interaction between the two of you, as you're drawing. I don't know how you concentrate, by the way, while you're drawing, and I do notice a few times you have to back up a little bit and undo, but that's the fun part about it. We're kind of eavesdropping in and you two having a conversation.
We definitely at first when we first started, and we're into our third year.
I know,
which is crazy.
Right.
And one of my followers that does my website, he's kind of Captn. He's like, we're over a couple hundred sketches that we've done already on Mondays. That doesn't include all the other stuff I've already drawn, but it started off where we kind of talked about what we were going to talk about, and we'd have subject matter and tried to pre-plan. And it always just seemed to work better if I didn't tell her anything, and I just kept throwing stuff at her.
Right.
Reality
that part,
TV.
it just made it better.
It
so
does.
That's what we now do.
now tell everyone, our listeners, you have where people are watching from. I think that's also amazing as they sit there and watch.
The internet has definitely been an amazing tool. So I have people, which is crazy to me to even think about.
Yep.
I have people from Brazil.
Oh.
I've got a person that he works early or gets up super early in the morning. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning in France. That watches guys from Australia, Spain, England, the UK, Germany, all over the world. It's insane.
They're regulars.
It's crazy.
They're regulars.
Yeah, they're regulars. Yeah, and that's the great part too. The Army, the Jalopy Army,
Jalopy Army
has become this thing where there are people that are joking with each other. There are side conversations going on every Monday night that I had no idea.
Now, hopefully,
Eddie B instigates all that. You know that. So.
Hopefully, as you're talking to all these people all over the world, you are wearing your mask, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Self-quarantine. I've got my social distancing on. I'm 6 feet away from Eddie B.
Well, we're just about almost out of time here, Johnny. Why don't you let people know how they can get onto your site, what they got to do to visit it, and watch you on Monday night, too?
Oh, sure, appreciate it. Yeah, you can catch my art and T-shirts at JohnnyJalopy.com. And I'm on all the media except for Twitter. I tried that, it didn't work for me. But it's Johnny Jalopy at Facebook and Johnny Jalopy Art at Facebook, and then Johnny Jalopy on Instagram.
Okay.
And you can check out my art. And the Sketchy Live is every Monday night at 9:30 Eastern Time. Mm-hmm. And I try to keep it within an hour, but it always goes over. And, we'd love for people to come check it out and be a part of the Army.
There you go.
Fantastic. Very good. Well, again, we appreciate you being on our show. And hopefully we'll be able to meet up again with you.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be super great, man. I'd love to see you guys again.
Cool. Sounds good. All righty. Well, we're going to cut out for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we got more to talk about. So we'll be right back.
Welcome back to Wisconsin Hot Rod Radio. This is Arlo.
And this is Captain Bob. And here we are again on the FONZ FM. Hey. So, again, thanks to Johnny Jalopy. He does some cool stuff out there, let me tell you.
Yeah. I like this kid.
He is,
I really do. I mean, he's just very talented, just fun, just a lot of fun. We saw him at SEMA. He, we interviewed Ian, and Johnny came walking up, and I immediately knew who he was. And he's just always got a big grin on his face. He's just always a happy guy.
Super nice guy.
Yeah,
so,
very cool.
Check out his website, that's for sure. A lot of cool things.
Yes, and cool check out his Monday nights. It's a lot of fun. There you go. I just get a cup of coffee and watch him, and him and his Eddie B kind of go at each other a little bit, and people are chiming in with questions, and he's very honest about all this stuff.
Cool. So once again, we got to say thanks to all of our sponsors that sponsor our show.
Yep.
Again, Gruber Law, thanks them very much. We appreciate everything that they do for us.
Yes, they do.
One call, that's all.
Thanks, David. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And again, to Bob Bennett Coach Works.
Yeah.
Again, his shop is still open.
Still going. That's right.
Don't stop in there.
It's open.
Gandrud, we want to say thanks to Gandrud Performance.
Yeah.
You're working on your vehicles right now. Now's the time to get those parts and get working on them.
Right. He's got everything up there.
He's got it all. Mm-hmm. Performance Roofing, if you need a roof, which... Paul, if you're listening to this show, we know you need a roof. So go ahead and give Performance Roofing a call. And we want to say our videos are always brought to us by Battery Saver.
Yeah.
Something I'm going to bring up that I haven't brought up before, but look at that. It's small. It's compact. Fits in your hand. Yes, you can jumpstart your vehicle with this from Battery Saver. Mm-hmm. It's a small little jumpstart kit.
It is, yeah.
And like you said, you can use this for your cell phone.
I bought it at SEMA in 2016. Everyone kind of laughed at me.
Yeah.
Because I used it to charge up. You can plug in your laptop, any phones you want off of that. But I've jumped so many cars and trucks off of that thing. It works really well. Yeah.
And it's things good for quite a long time.
Yeah, you might want to take that apart, though, because if those two touch, they might...
I got it off.
You don't need it on. You don't need it on.
I know, yeah.
You don't put it on. You just...
They've got covering over.
I know.
I know. I thought about that. Yeah, I know. I get zapped here.
I'll tell you what. And you charge that thing up, it lasts forever.
Forever. So again, check out Battery Saver.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for either the trickle, I don't want to say trickle chargers,
No.
but the chargers to keep
Tenders,
your tenders,
or
your
whatever.
tenders. You can get them through that.
Savers.
Or you can get this. I mean, you can get one of these. I mean, they
You
have a
bought that
new
for your
style.
motorcycle.
Yeah, I bought this for the motorcycle, but I use this on the cars too.
Yeah.
Again, great little items that they have here. So
Yeah.
check them out, Battery Saver.
It is a great. It's a great. I still, 2016. Yeah, it's 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I still jump cars with it.
Yeah.
People laugh when I pull it out, but
Yeah.
So what am I jumping? My wife's truck that she doesn't drive, that sits there, and we have to put it on there and crank it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyways,
You know, we put the message out last week that if you're 29 years or younger,
yeah.
send us some information about your vehicle that you're working on or have worked on. And again, you can either be working on it, guy or girl, working on your own vehicle, or you
Right.
can have mom and dad helping you with it. We don't care, or aunts and uncles, we don't care. But tell us what you're working on. And what we're going to do is we're going to compile some pictures here, and hopefully we can throw pictures on of this car. But we're going to present a trophy later on for the Young Gun Award since we can't have car shows right now.
Right.
So we got to say thanks very much to Joe Elbert. He said, here is what my sons and I have been working on for a while as we are quarantined. It's a 1979 Pontiac Sunbird. I received the car 4 years ago after my uncle passed away. My uncle referred to the car as his baby. He even carried it in his bag he said he even carried in his bag an envelope marked Save Baby's Photos.
Oh.
Steve's baby's photos, and it contains 6 pictures of the car. After a nice trip to the Atlanta area to pick it up, we got it running again. It has been in storage for around 12 years before we got it, so shortly after getting it running, the motor broke. It took 4 years to have the necessary funds to do jobs right. Ordered a crate motor from Summit Racing and numerous trips to O'Reilly, Farm and Fleet, and he says, so tonight I was able to drive the car into the garage instead of pushing it in. Best part of the whole project is my 2 sons took interest and did most of the work.
Nice.
And he sent some pictures over. It's a 79 Sunbird, which to me looks like a cool pro street car.
It does.
He's got this thing tubbed in the back end.
Yeah.
Huge scoop on it. It's really kind of cool. So he says, this is a new hobby, and he's glad to see his 2 sons are working on this. So what we need to know, Joe, send us the age of the 2 boys. We'd like to know, because
right.
again, you said your sons are helping you work on this.
Right.
And we're going to put this into our Young Gun
Submission
category there.
contest. Yeah.
So again, hopefully we'll be able to put some pictures up out there. So thanks again.
Yeah, keep sending them in.
So there
Keep
you
sending them in. Comments at Wisconsin Hot Rod Radio. Send us a photograph and a little bio like you just heard here about the car.
Yeah.
29 and younger, if that's who you're working on it.
Yeah.
And you can have help.
Yeah.
It isn't like you have to do it by yourself. And we're not looking for $1 million cars.
No,
so it just
no.
can be
Exactly.
anything.
And what we're going to do is we'll put some pictures up onto our website,
Yeah.
and we'll either have our listeners pick the car for the Young Gun Award, or we'll pick the car.
Right.
So we'll do whatever we can do there.
Right.
But we're going to hopefully present, because we got a lot of trophies to give away too, let me tell you.
We do.
So,
we
but
do.
again,
Yeah,
so-
I laugh because
Yeah.
we're not going to car shows
Exactly,
right now.
that's for sure.
They're backed up.
So we got to go into our swap section here.
Yeah.
Now, if you are looking for those tires and wheels that Ed was selling out there, he had some 22-inch rims and tires. Well, guess what? You waited too long. Sold.
Wow, that was dramatic.
They're already gone.
That
I
was
know. Well,
dramatic.
that was not only sounds on the air, but also for our video. So, but yeah.
It's free. We do this stuff
free,
for free.
yeah.
We've been doing this since 2007. We've been doing this kind of stuff.
Wow.
Yep. Okay, here's one that's really kind of cool. It's a 1935 black Chevy coupe. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. The pictures are up on our website. It's got air conditioning, FM stereo, excellent condition. Got a 305 engine, automatic transmission. Spare parts come with this thing, including the original engine. It's going to be on our website. It's unfortunate that this became available because a good friend of ours, Bill Hansen, passed away.
Yeah.
And now the coupe is orphan and it's homeless right now. So they're looking for someone to pick up this car and love it just as much as Bill did.
There you go.
He's had it over 40 years. He's owned this car. So anyways, they're asking $60,000 or best offer, and the phone number is on our website. Go to wisconsinhotrodradio.com and look for the swap section about the middle of the page down.
Cool.
But there's a picture of a gorgeous car, black, beautiful.
So, like you mentioned, we do this for free service.
We do.
So, if you got something you want to sell, let us know.
Yep.
We've got the camper on there that Doug Wolf is out there trying to sell, which is kind of cool. We got Byron Dragway.
It's for sale.
It's for sale if you want to buy that.
Yeah.
We also have a cool house in Waukesha, Wisconsin, that if you want to have a house where you can live in, repair your cars in, and do everything there, that's the house
It's an old dealership.
Yeah,
Studebaker, was it? Dealership.
Really kind of cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Again, we've got some trading cards on there, NASCAR trading cards that we're selling, and also, too, that cool Pontiac, too, that's for sale.
Pontiac's on there. We got a lot of stuff on there.
Different things on there.
That's right, yeah.
So it's kind of cool. So, again, we appreciate everybody that chimes in, but... again, check out our website because I want to say to you, what do we have going on this weekend? And unfortunately,
pretty much everything's canceled. But go to our website. If you don't see canceled on there, go to and check on the people on the phone number and give them a call and see if they're still going. My guess is it's not. And unfortunately, we have some bad news that came to us this past week. They announced it on Tuesday or Wednesday of last week. Iola Car Show and Swap Meet has been canceled. Yeah, that was set for the second weekend in July, and unfortunately, they just don't want to cause any trouble up in Iola, and they had to make that tough decision. So
but the good thing on it is we're going to actually have Joe Opperman on next week. Again, one of the big organizers of the Iola show, and Joe's going to be talking about what they're going to hopefully maybe do instead of the Iola big swap meet. And so we'll have Joe talking about that also, too. So, and again, next week, too, we're going to have John Ewart on. John is actually one of the people from Road America. Yeah. A lot of people have been asking what's going on with Road America. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to find out what's going on up there because they always have events happening, too.
That's a premier racetrack up there. And Iola's a premier car show. Yeah. And so for that to cancel, but... Well, we understand it. We get it. Everything's kind of canceling.
Now, one of the shows you'll probably see onto our website that hasn't been canceled, and there's one reason for that is I've been trying to contact the people, and we haven't heard a word back yet, and that's the MATC show that's here in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. Which is always a nice show because it's they've had John Force has been there in the past.
John Force is there.
Yeah. So, but we don't know yet because again the schools are closed. And the email goes to somebody at the school, so I don't know if he's monitoring those.
And we don't want to say yes or no if it's up or down. So
so we don't know at this particular point.
Right.
So we're not too sure. But and again, we feel sorry for all the people that have had to cancel so far. Yeah. It's just. What can you say?
It's understandable, though.
Yeah. And, we got to put that out. We mentioned it last week. A lot of these people are not canceling because they want to cancel or they're afraid. Right. They're canceling because they have to get donations and businesses to be part of it. And because a lot of businesses are closed down, it's just not something they can do at this point.
Yeah, they can't go to them and say, like, a lot of businesses support and donate. You can't do that.
And that's why all the cruises are out there right now.
Yeah.
So jump in on one of the cruises. Yeah. Now for a little bit of bad news here again, too. Yeah. A lot of us here in the Wisconsin area, especially the Milwaukee area, always knew of a guy by the name of Carl Casper.
Yeah, we did.
And Carl Casper, matter of fact, the car you just talked about, I believe his interior was done by Casper. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Carl had passed away a while back ago, and he was always a great person. Yeah. But we've just lost his wife, Bev. Yeah. Bev has passed away also, too. So if you've ever gone to any of the car shows, you always saw Carl and Bev there. If you went to the World of Wheels, Bev was always sitting there.
They were inseparable.
Exactly.
And she always had a smile. She was always super nice to everybody. Exactly. Just a sweetheart.
Right. Yeah. So, again, our hearts go out to the family there once again. Mm-hmm. So, again, tune in next week because we're going to have Joe Opperman on and John Ewart, and we're going to be talking about what's going on.
Yep.
So as we always say here on Wisconsin Hot Rod Radio,
be there
or be healthy. We're out of here.
Captain Bob and Arlo, they're the ones you know. Wisconsin's Hot Rod Radio.